Welcome to the Rose Festival Honors presented by Wells Fargo. I'm your host, Marlo Eckert, a Rose Festival board member and also a past princess of the Rose Festival Court. And I want to thank every one of you for tuning in from all around the globe. I'm so pleased to have you with all of us for this Rose Festival event centered around the theme of community supporting women. We have wonderful stories to share during the next 45 minutes and some very special people to share them. Before we start, we have many special people watching with us today, including Commissioner Joanne Hardesty, Rose Festival President Dave Todd, and Rose Festival CEO Jeff Curtis. Also watching today is Prime Minister of the Royal Rosarians, Corey Heckendorf, and the 2021 Rose Festival Court. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to today's event supporters, including our presenting sponsor, Wells Fargo, Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace, KPTV Fox 12 Oregon, and the Oregonian and Oregon Live. We'd also like to thank the Floral Design Institute for always providing beautiful floral decor. There are so many connections in today's program. Connections to the community, connections to the Rose Festival, and even a strong connection between our honoree and our keynote speaker. But first, here's a connection to last year's honors event, an amazing woman who inspired us as our keynote speaker in 2020, the region president of our presenting sponsor, Wells Fargo, Tracy Curtis.
Welcome everyone to the 2021 Portland Rose Festival Honors Luncheon. I'm Tracy Curtis, Oregon Region President for Wells Fargo Bank. I'm honored to say that Wells Fargo has been a long supporter of the Portland Rose Festival. It is one of the oldest events in Portland, and all of you know how much we like history. We really support it though because of its mission to provide mentorships and scholarships to young women. And as I said in my keynote speech at this luncheon last year, we have come a long way with equality for women, but we also have a long way to go. And that's why I'm really excited to hear from this year's keynote speaker, Dr. Alisha Moreland-Capuia. I'll end with congratulating this year's honoree, Mr. Paul Knauls, and I hope to see you all in person next year.
Thank you so much, Tracy, and thank you for Wells Fargo's support of today's event. Part of our goal with this very special event is to raise the funding necessary to enable Rose Festival to continue to give back with events that support the community through the arts, volunteerism, and education, all important values of the Portland Rose Festival Foundation. Don't forget, the foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our support comes from the commitment of our corporate partners, our event customers, and generous donors just like me and you. As I mentioned already, we have some inspiring people sharing today's stories. And this is one of those events where we encourage you to give when you feel inspired. We want to make giving a donation as easy as possible, so we have many different ways to give. You can use the button on the landing page of the live stream, or if you're a part of a watch party, your host will share the donation link in the chat. You can also use PayPal at the Rose Festival website, or Venmo, or text the word donate and the number of dollars you want to contribute to our text to give number, 503-744-5100. And don't worry, I'll give you helpful cues when it's a good time to donate throughout the broadcast. In fact, I'll give you your first hint now. It's always a good time to donate to the Rose Festival. Not sure where to start? We have some suggested amounts of gifts, including $115, representing $1 of every year the Rose Festival has sustained its place in the local community. Despite threats like war, economic downturns, or even the current pandemic, that has restricted our outdoor events. Of course, we welcome every gift, whatever size, and hope you will choose an amount that's significant to you. The Rose Festival Honors Committee is proud to have chosen Mr. Paul Knauls to be our honoree in 2021. But you can choose an individual to honor on your own, someone meaningful in your life that you'd like to remember or highlight today. Give a gift in honor of or in memory of at this year's Rose Festival Honors. We like to share as many of these special acknowledgements as possible with our live stream audience. To get us started, Carla and Gary Stenberg are making a $250 gift in memory of their friend Richard Lagerwill, a past Spokane Lilac Festival president who's helped the Grand Floral Parade mini float construction and who encouraged others, especially women, his entire life. You can see on your screen names of others who have made a donation in memory of or in honor of someone already. Rose Festival sponsor, Bank of the West, has offered to match the next 25 donations of $115 or more up to a total of $3,000. Now's the perfect time to make a donation of in honor of or in memory of someone and have it automatically doubled by Bank of the West. We are so grateful to Brandon Manning and his team for their support. Okay, let's get this show on the road. We're thrilled to have a welcome message from a member of Portland City Council, a woman who has been with us for all three of our Rose Festival Honors events, Commissioner Joanne Hardesty.
Hi, I'm Portland City Commissioner Joanne Hardesty, and since 1907, the Portland Rose Festival has been the city's premier festival. This year, it's going to look a little different because we're still in our virtual communities. However, I want to congratulate the Rose Festival Court and let you know that we're with you. I also want to take a moment to thank my friend Paul Knauls, who will be honored this year. And I want to say, please keep doing what you're doing to make Portland a more just, a more fair, and a more equitable city. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We've already met two notable women, and we barely started today's program. Now it's time to celebrate our accomplished 2021 honoree, Mr. Paul Knauls. Let's meet him and learn about what makes him so special right now.
Well, today we are here to honor Mr. Paul Knauls, to present to you an award for your work in the community, the work you've done to support, that you supported your wife, put her out in front, the work you've done with your daughters and your granddaughters to support women, all that you have done in the community. Unofficial mayor of Northeast Portland, we could think of no one else but to honor this year. So on behalf of the Portland Rose Festival Foundation, I'd like to present to you our 2021 Rose Festival honor.
Well, thank you, Ms. Baldwin. I appreciate that.
Oh, what a blessing to be able to get an award like this, even at the age of 90, that you can still be recognized. So I'm really proud to be able to receive this award.
He is an icon in Northeast Portland.
Even if you were just driving down the street and saw him outside or someone or Miss Geneva outside, you just waved and he was waving back.
I would venture to say that probably most Black people that live in Portland know who he is, even if they haven't met him. They've heard of him.
He's just that person that everybody seems to know, of all ages, and he remembers everybody.
I'd say that he is an amazing, kind, sweet, smart, funny man. He's just my best friend. He's my world.
Remembers my kids' names, and not just my kids, everybody's kids.
He is just absolutely one of the most community-minded, loving, generous people that you would ever want to meet.
He's owned so many businesses, Black-owned businesses like the Cotton Club, Paul's, and Geneva Sheer Perfection, volunteering, giving back to the community, going and supporting the Blazers or going and supporting Jefferson cheerleading or volleyball to come and just, do a car wash so they can donate, so they can save up for their team, and just being that amazing man for the community.
Mr. Knauls has been called the unofficial, the honorary mayor of Northeast Portland since I can remember.
I go somewhere and they'll introduce me. We have the mayor of Northeast Portland here, Mr. Paul Knauls.
The whole city gasses him up about it, oh, that's the mayor, that's the mayor. No, Grandpa, you're just Grandpa, you're just Granddad. And he cracks up at it.
I just stand up and tell him, well, thank you very much. I guess if you live in Northeast Portland, I guess I'm your mayor because you didn't vote me in, so you can't vote me out. That's my line for that, so that takes care of that.
He has just done so much for the community and for the people, and he's just like the face of Portland. So I feel like people have just attached that badge of honor to him because it like fits him so well.
It's been an honor though, because people really do. They see me and they'll say, "Mr. Mayor, how you doing?" I'm fine today, thank you.
I honestly admire the way he treats women and how he supported women. He was with my grandmother for 50 years before she passed away, and the way that he loved her was so beautiful and so amazing, and I just aspire to have a partner like that.
It's been said already that he puts women out front. He named his businesses after his wife. They were co-owners of everything. She was a part of everything that he did.
The women that worked for him in the shop, he respected them, he loved them, he admired them. He's always spoke highly of them.
You know, he talks about his grandkids and, you know, his grandkids, but he doesn't talk about all the other kids that he has influenced, all the other people that were not blood relation to him that he supported through one of his business ventures.
Makes us know that like we're beautiful, that we can do anything, and like education is so important. Like put your best foot forward and always make sure you have your education. He stresses that, like he stresses education.
He wants you to succeed. And I guess being a woman, I've noticed that he's done that with women. And it's always stood out to me. So being able to honor him with the Rose Festival Honors Award is just perfectly fitting. And at this point in his life, he absolutely deserves this honor, because being supportive of, having the back of promoting women is something that he's done all of his life that I've known him. And from hearing him talk, this is just something that's in him. It's innate.
He has supported lots of folks in Northeast Portland, and so that's why we call him the honorary mayor of Northeast Portland, because you will see him coming down MLK in that antique car with his captain's hat on, and he's smiling and waving every day like it's a parade.
Portland is definitely a better city because of my grandpa.
This is a well-deserved honor. Congratulations, Paul. We are so grateful for Paul's support of women and of the community over the many years. To all our viewers, we are also extremely grateful for your support today. Here's your second cue in honor of Mr. Paul Knauls. Please make a donation to the Portland Rose Festival Foundation, or make a donation in honor of someone special to you. Wow. Thank you to Rose Festival immediate past president Terry Bowles Atherton, who has generously agreed to make a matching donation of the first 10 people who make the suggested donation of $115. Thank you, Terry. Thank you also to our 2019 honoree Sheila Holden for $250, John O'Hanlon, $250, Nancy Wolf, $150, Alice Dale, $30, Stephen Stapp, $500. Thank you, everyone. And the list continues. Jeannie Stahl, $50. Patrick Silver, $115. Brian and Carol Ross, $1,000. We have Ashley Sider making a donation in honor of her mom, Nancy Good, and Janet Dalton making a donation in memory of the 1974 Princess Lisa Gale Emmons. Our keynote sponsor today is Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace, and we'd like to thank them for their support. Here's Benjamin Becerra to introduce our keynote speaker.
My name is Benjamin, and I work for the Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace as the Outreach and Education Coordinator for the Portland Metro Region and the Latinx community of Oregon. We are very happy to support the Rose Festival as one of the largest events bringing people in Oregon together. At the Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace, we value community and health, and we are eager to share information about affordable health coverage options for people in Oregon. The Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace is excited to be today's keynote sponsor. Dr. Alisha Moreland-Capuia is an Oregon-grown powerhouse in the field of psychiatric medicine and is a source of pride for all of us back home, as she's now teaching at Harvard Medical School. Not only that, she represented the entire Portland community as Rose Festival Queen in 1998. We all gain strength from each other as we strive to succeed, and Alisha will share how her connections within the community, including with today's honoree, Mr. Paul Knauls, inspired her and lifted her up throughout her journey. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity. For more information about the Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace, please visit oregonhealthcare.gov.
Thank you so much for having me be a part of this program today. Many thanks to the Rose Festival, the Rose Festival Foundation, and the committee. Many thanks to all of you for being here today. And many, many thanks to the honoree tonight, Mr. Paul Knauls. I am so thrilled to be here, to be talking about really the theme for today, community and resilience. And as I thought specifically about what I could share, the most important thing that came up for me was the stories of community building and who has been a part of that legacy of building community and helping communities heal and to buoy communities. And I couldn't think of a better story than the story of Mr. Knauls and Rose Festival back in 1998. So back in 1998, I attended Jefferson High School, and in 1998, the school was in a process of undergoing reconstitution. And I recall that the narrative back at that time was really challenged, that the narrative in some mind and definitely as I perceived at the time was that folks thought that the school was not enough, Jefferson High School, and that the teachers were not enough and that the students were not enough. That was certainly the narrative. And it seemed at the time so counter to my experience there as a student. And I recall it was my senior year and I was an athlete. I played sports all 4 years. And I recall at the time that someone said, you know, if you want to change the narrative, why don't you run for Rose Festival? And I thought to myself, you know, I'm an athlete. And I had some misconceptions at the time. And so some would say, you can go from a beast on the court to a beauty queen. And I thought, well, it's more than that. And I've discovered that Rose Festival is really about building leaders and helping folks in building leaders is helping to build community. That's what I now know in getting engaged with the Rose Festival, that's what it's about. And so back in 1998, I did decide to run for Rose Festival. And I recall at the school level running for Princess, and my school decided that they wanted me to represent them to compete for the large crown. And back in 1998, it was the theme at that particular instance was Ticket to Adventure. And I will never forget it. So we've got this theme. We're all poised, we're doing our community efforts, we're all poised to show up at the Arlene Snitzer Hall. It was an evening event. Coin 6 was reporting mostly, and the lights were on, cameras were on, but I recall the day before the official competition for the crown, I went to Geneva Sheer Perfection to get my hair done, as I always do. And I remember I got this fancy bun and the curls, and Gina Yarborough was my hairdresser. And I can tell you that consistently, Mr. Knauls and Mrs. Knauls always had young African-American men and women in their shop, working there, teaching them business, helping them also understand community. And the shop also represented a place where folks could go and feel safe and feel seen. They would always have pictures of everyone on the wall, pictures of families and couples, and you could see yourself reflected in the place. The minute you walked into Geneva's, you'd get a smile and a welcome, a warm welcome, and you felt important. And you could find at any given time a Portland trailblazer, stars from out of town, and good old common community folks all in one place. See, Mr. Knauls and Mrs. Knauls understood that creating a hub where folks could feel safe and seen and creating community was so incredibly important for both safety and creating a sense of hope and really inspiring the next generation of leaders, which it has not gone unnoticed. And so I remember that day I got my hair done in preparation to go down to the Snitzer. And as Gina was doing my hair, Mr. Knauls said to me, you know, this whole Rose Festival thing, it's not just about you, right? It's about the community. And don't forget that. And so fast forward, we get down to the schnitzer. The lights are up. It's an elegant moment. We've got a wonderful folks who are singing in the production. Patrick Lamb is on the saxophone at the time. And I recall my speech, and I think it's relevant for the moment because it's so interesting that geopolitically in 1998, it was a tough time for folks for many reasons. It was a tough time for North and Northeast Portland for multiple reasons. And there was a strong need for the unification of community. There was a strong need for leaders to create conditions for belonging where folks could feel seen. And so I get down to the schnitzer, I give my speech, and I remember the speech. I used the suitcase as a metaphor for what I would carry with me on my journey. And I said things like, I'm taking the grace, I'm packing with me the grace of Chelsea, who was a Jefferson dancer at the time. And I essentially said that I was going to be packing individual characteristics of folks who I admired, and their characteristics were going to help lead me along the way and be an anchoring presence in my life. And I recall saying that I was going to take the community mindedness of Mr. Knauls, which was so important, that wherever I went, I was committed to building community, to creating hope, to helping people heal. And so I go through the speech. I said that this ticket is not just my way forward, but it's the community's way forward. And I've been committed to that effort ever since. So we fast forward, we finish the night, and it's time to call the name of who's going to win the queen. And we get to that moment and said the 1998 Rose Festival queen is Alisha Moreland. And I literally just sort of kind of collapse a little bit, not like physically collapse, but just sort of inward. And I'm very grateful for the moment. But then I look out and I see Black leaders in the community in the schnitzer. I see Asian American leaders. I see Latino leaders literally in tears. And what I recognize is that the moment that it represented for a number of folks, the win that year represented what we could be, the hope and the possibility. It helped communities feel seen in a way that folks had not felt seen in a while. And so two things that really, for me, that really brought it home is that Mr. Knauls was right, that it was more, Rose Festival was more than just about me, that it was about multiple communities, and that it was going to be my responsibility to represent and to represent well. And the second is that Rose Festival has been in the business of really, in many ways, effectively creating community. And it's demonstrated here tonight in them honoring the epitome of community, Mr. Knauls. And so I think that right now, at this particular moment, at this time and under these current conditions, we could use community builders like Mr. Knauls. We could use his working example. Because I'm going to tell you this, when I said that I was packing and taking Mr. Knauls' community mindedness with me, I took him with me in that community mindedness all the way to Stanford University. I took him with me to George Washington University, the School of Medicine, where I built community as a medical student. I then took him with me back to Oregon, where I was on, trained and then on faculty at OHSU for almost 11 years. And then I also brought that same community mindedness with me 7 months ago when my family and I transitioned to Cambridge at Harvard Medical School. So I believe in it. It's not something that I'm saying. It's something that I live. And the more that we are able to build community and safety and think about others and buoying others and lifting others as we move forward, the better we are as a society. So I want to ask all of us to think about what we can do to really build strong community where everyone can feel safe and where everyone feels like they belong. What can we do in the times that we find ourselves in to help people feel seen, to help people feel heard, to demonstrate our capacity for good, because that is what this is all about. Community. Community is so incredibly important. Building it is important, sustaining it, maintaining it, helping, supporting. So my question again is, what can we do? What organizations can we support? What people can we support who do the hard work, the hard and necessary work of keeping communities afloat? This time more than ever is an opportunity to figure out what we are willing to do, what we can put in our metaphorical, or what we must think about putting in our metaphorical suitcases. What characteristics are we willing to pack, and how are we willing to work together and individually to ensure that everyone can do what Mr. Knauls has done for so many of us, which is to inspire the next generation of leaders and to inspire the next generation of change makers. Mr. Knauls, I'll speak to you directly. You have left an indelible mark. You have inspired a whole new generation of leaders, me included. And I want to say thank you. I am incredibly honored to be able to personally today say thank you, and also to challenge each of us to allow Mr. Knauls' example to inspire us and to propel us forward.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moreland-Capuia. It was so wonderful to have the opportunity to hear from a woman who is so accomplished, both professionally and personally, and has such an important connection to the Rose Festival. Today we have the princesses of the 2021 Rose Festival Court, presented by Unitas Community Credit Union, with us. And I can only imagine how inspiring it is for them to hear from someone like Alisha Moreland-Capuia. I hope you will consider giving a gift to the Portland Rose Festival Foundation in honor of Queen Alisha. I also want to mention that thanks to a generous anonymous donor, all 15 princesses of the 2021 Rose Festival Court will be giving the suggested donation of $115 today. Speaking of the court, let's meet them right now.
Hello, we are the 2021 Rose Festival Court, and we're excited to be here today.
We want to thank the Randall Group for ensuring that each one of us receives a $3,500 scholarship, and the Unitas Community Credit Union for matching us with our mentors.
Hello, I'm Natalie Mathers from Parkos High School. I plan to study political science at the University of Oregon to pursue a career in law or education. My mentor is Karen Salmon.
Hi, my name is Jillian North, and I go to Lake Ridge High School. I plan to study psychology at Portland State University in order to pursue a career in marriage and family therapy. My mentor is Charles Sears.
Hi, I'm Lily Rosebrook from Valley Catholic High School. I plan to study chemical engineering at the Oregon State University Honors College to pursue a career in medicine. My mentor is Megan Snyder.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Din from David Douglas High School. I plan to study psychology at Portland State University, and my mentor is Lori Williams.
Hi, I'm Faith Isabor from McDaniel High School. I plan to study within the biological sciences in college in order to pursue a career in medicine. My mentor is Lori Fink.
Hi, I'm Madison Cooper, and I'm from Central Catholic High School. I plan to study psychology at Whittier College and plan to pursue a career in therapy. My mentor is Heather Bianchini.
Hi, I'm Gina Lim from Lincoln High School. I plan to study international relations at Johns Hopkins University to pursue a career in foreign service. My mentor is Gigi Gardner.
Hi, I'm Rena Marthaler from Cleveland High School. I plan to study environmental engineering with a double major in cultural studies in order to pursue a career in climate correction or educational equality. My mentor is Jessica Brown.
Hi, my name is Eliana Camara from Franklin High School. I plan to study architecture at Portland State University to pursue a career as an architect. My mentor is Carlinda Wooden.
Hi, I'm Beatrice Santiago Perez. I'm from Grant High School. I plan on attending Portland State University to pursue a career as a social worker. My mentor is Carmen Ram.
Hello, my name is Kayla Pierce. At Jefferson High School, I plan to study psychology at Clark Atlanta University. My mentor is Ashley Jacobson Dunbar.
Hi, my name is Sophia Chin from Benson Polytechnic High School. I plan to study architecture at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and then pursue a career as an architect. My mentor is Amy Berg.
I'm Catalina Montero from IW Wells Barnett. I plan to study pre-med and finance or business at St. Lawrence to pursue a career in healthcare. My mentor is Michelle Lachenmeyer.
Hi, my name is Andrea Brazil and I'm from St. Mary's Academy. I plan to major in elementary education at the University of Oregon to one day become an elementary school teacher. My mentor is Rose Halford.
I want to send our congratulations to today's honoree, Mr. Paul Knauls, and send a big thank you to keynote speaker, Queen Alisha from Jefferson High School.
Hi, thank you.
Bye.
We wish the princesses all the very best as they continue their training and preparations for a few weeks of community outreach later in the spring. We look forward to the Queen's coronation presented by Unitas Community Credit Union on Friday, June 18th at Washington Park. And now we have a very special moment that ties back to 1998 when Alisha Moreland was announced the Rose Festival Queen. During the Queen's coronation telecast, an amazing Portland talent, Julianne Johnson, was the headline entertainer. Julianne Johnson has now enjoyed a 30-year career educating, ministering, and performing all over the world. And now, the Grammy-nominated artist will now perform Gladys Knight's "You're the Best Thing That's Ever Happened to Me."
I'd like to attribute this song especially to Mr. Paul Knauls for your leadership throughout this city of roses. We love you and we thank you for your commitment. I've had my share of life's ups and downs, but fate's been kind to me. The downs have been few. Oh, I guess you could say that I've been lucky. Well, I guess you could say that it's all because of you. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, oh, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory, 'cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, you know there have been times when times were hard, but I know somehow, some way I made it through. Yes, my
Julianne. That was simply incredible. Thank you for joining us today in honor of Mr. Paul Knauls and our keynote speaker, Dr. Alisha Moreland-Capuia. Julianne's performance was moving. Now is another chance for you to make and consider a gift to the Portland Rose Festival Foundation in her honor. Live performances these days are rare, so that was a fantastic treat. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, I have held many roles through the festival, from being the Metro West Princess, an intern for several years, and being on the board of directors and the chair of the Grand Floral Walk since 2018. I think it's safe to say I invest both my time and financial support to the Rose Festival. As today has shown, the Rose Festival has touched many people for over a century from many walks of life. For me, it really did change my life. 2 weeks before I was born, my parents moved from New York to this small town of North Plains, Oregon. All my family, friends, and connections were nearly 3,000 miles away. I didn't have a strong network here, even though I lived in the same home my entire life. When I was crowned as the Metro West Princess, nearly instantly, doors were opening that I didn't even know existed. Through the court program, I was assigned my own personal mentor, Susan Burke, who had nothing but my best interest in hand. 7 years later, we're still close today. Having a leader in the professional world was one of the best things the Rose Festival has provided me. Susan is someone I regularly reach out to for professional advice, from reviewing my resume, networking with other professionals, and helping me work through work problems that were tricky to me, especially as a young professional. Many of us still struggle how to ask for a raise or navigate a career path well into our careers. Having a mentor made all that easier. To say the least, the mentorship the Rose Festival Court program provides is a lifelong impact, and it's critical to the development of young female professionals. To Susan, I am grateful for our relationship. Thank you for investing in me and the Rose Festival Court program. Speaking of investing, each of the princesses received a $3,500 scholarship from the Randall Group. This scholarship allowed me to attend Portland State University and take on additional coursework to complete my Bachelor's of Arts early. I ended up graduating from the School of Business as a double major in Human Resource Management and Management and Leadership. Financial help is always appreciated. It also helped me secure additional scholarships over the years, totaling nearly $12,000 awarded simply because I was a Rose Festival princess. One opportunity led to another, and then another, and then another. Again, these opportunities led right back to Rose Festival. I mentioned earlier that I interned for the Rose Festival for a number of years, but that was in addition to my other jobs of being a baseball umpire and working at PGE, not to mention being a full-time student. I've been an umpire since I was 11, which has served me well for several reasons, but a foot into the door to a professional organization like PGE was something I never would have had access to, especially 2 weeks after graduating high school. While on the court, I applied for a specialized paid internship at PGE and got the job. It was supposed to be a 3-month summer internship, a time to get some experience, another addition to my resume, and once college started, that was it. Well, one thing led to another, and 7 years later, I'm still at PGE, now as a safety specialist. I love my job, and it really is one of the most unique jobs you can have. Every day holds a challenge, and I thrive on making my company, as well as my community, a better place. Being a safety specialist definitely ties into my values, and it's a job I'm proud of. More days than not, I often reflect on how I got to where I am, and all roads lead back to Rose Festival. If I didn't try out for this scholarship program, let alone get crowned, many of the great things in my life will likely not be possible, including my current career. I've always been a go-getter. You need something done, I'm your woman. You can see that in my professional life, my personal life, and my volunteer life. I'm a big believer you get what you put into things. For me, the Rose Festival invested in me in ways I can't explain. I became a donor to the Rose Festival when I was 18 years old. I was a full-time student who was paying my own education and made $10,000 that year from my jobs. I started off donating $20 a year and buying a raffle ticket at the Rose Festival auction in the fall. It wasn't much to some, but it was a lot to me at the time, and a lot to the Rose Festival. I knew $20 covered a meal for a princess who was networking with professionals in the community, something that I found so important for myself and the development of my professional network. As my salary began to grow, so did my donations. Every year I was able to increase my donation and was matched by my company to double the impact. And now, I'm one of the top donors of the festival. It doesn't take much to make a difference, and as someone who has lived the benefits of the donors before me, I know my hard-earned dollar, and I really do mean earned, is going to a place that is going to benefit my community more than I ever could imagine. As part of the board of directors, I was the youngest board member to be appointed in board history. Like anything, age is just a number. This powerhouse was ready to get to work, and I showed that as I served on 7 festival committees each year. A bit over the recommended 3, but that didn't matter to me. I'm excited, energized, and want to give everything I can to my community. Of what I've kept track of, I have volunteered roughly 180 hours a year for the Rose Festival. I am invested in the success of Portland's official festival. As a leader of the festival, it's important to me to see it prosper and be better than when I first started. Earlier today, the court met virtually with professional women in their desired career path for a roundtable discussion. This group contained incredible women that are not only leaders at work, but in their community as well. I personally had 10 members of my network participate, all women who I've met throughout my professional journey, with the exception of my phenomenal god sister, Ashley Baker, a registered nurse who joined us from Cohen's Children's Hospital in New York, which makes me appreciate the festival even more. Rose Festival has an impact everywhere in the world, from lifelong Oregonians, our sister city of Kaohsiung, Taiwan, the millions of visitors of the festival every year, the outreach the court provides Oregon, and to the family members who reside 3,000 miles away but have participated in many events, especially in forums like this. So, as I stand here today, honoring Mr. Knauls, being inspired by our 1998 Queen, Dr. Moreland-Capuia, and reflecting on my own story, I'm reminded how meaningful this festival is to not only me, but our community. There is only one Marlo Eckert in the world, and everyone involved in the Rose Festival helped make my story, and many other stories, part of the positive impact we see in the world. Thank you for joining me and making a contribution today. Donors like KPTV, Fox Channel 12, Dave and Kathleen Todd, Cassie Olger, Wells Fargo Bank, Brett Baker, the Royal Rosarian Foundation, Jeff Curtis, Kathy Fesnew, Jan Warren, Virginia Rush, Charlie Clint, Patricia Cohen, Rose Fuller, Kimberly Bone, Corey Heckendorf for $115, Julianne Johnson, $115. Mary Elizabeth Young, $150. We have Linda Gunzelman making a donation in memory of her father, Carl Christiansman. Tom, Barbara, and Kelly in honor of Mr. Knauls and Dr. Moreland-Capuia. Ray Hansen in memory of Lee Ann Gadolaiskis. And Kathy Ware in honor of Mr. Paul Knauls. All these people are adding to our success during and after the pandemic. Thank you for your donations. I personally look forward to seeing you all out on the parade route, and your financial contributions is keeping our critical programs alive through a remarkable time. Okay, so now that you've heard from 3 different generations on their personal story of how the Rose Festival has impacted our lives, I invite you to make your donation now. If you feel like you'd like to give more or make a gift in memory of or in honor of someone special, please feel free to do so now. All you have to do is click the donate button on this landing page or in the reminder email you received. Or take a look at your screen to see the ways you can contribute through Venmo or by text or by mailing a check into the Rose Festival office. We also have donations from Leslie Goodlow in memory of Donna Goodlow and Natasha Holstein for $150. Rose Festival has been challenged during the pandemic, going 2 years without its biggest outdoor events. As a nonprofit organization, Rose Festival will continue to be challenged in the months to come. While the festival will sustain itself along the runway of 2022, every dollar matters. You are never too young to make your first donation, and all donations are meaningful. I want to take a moment to thank Wells Fargo and Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace once again for making it possible to bring this event to the community. To our media partners, KPTV, Fox 12 Oregon, and the Oregonian, and to the 5 premier sponsors of the Rose Festival: Spirit Mountain Casino, Alaska Airlines, Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oregon, Fred Meyer, and Portland General Electric. Please share today's program with others who might be inspired by it, because today's event will be available to view again after the live stream ends. So let's take another moment to say congratulations one more time to our wonderful honoree, Mr. Paul Knauls, who is a great gift to our community. On behalf of the Rose Festival Honors Committee, led by Chairperson Natasha Holstein, and on behalf of the Portland Rose Festival Foundation Board of Directors and staff, thank you again for your generous gifts today. We hope to see you again at next year's Rose Festival Honors event. Let hope reign.